Welcome to Aging Insight with your host, John Ross and Lisa Scholmeyer. This program is made possible by
Welcome everyone to Aging Insight. I'm Lisa Scholmeyer. I'm here with John Ross, and we are elder law attorneys. And you know, if you've never heard of an elder law attorney, well, let me tell you, we are attorneys that address the special needs that seniors and maybe families that are caring for a senior or people with disabilities. We cover a lot of different subject areas for those type of clients. And you know, John, one of the things I think is always so funny is I have people all the time tell me, I don't need an elder law attorney, I'm not elder.
That's right, I'm not elder. Or they'll say, how old do I need to be to see an elder law attorney?
Right, and you know, my answer is always, if you hope to be an elder someday, then you're gonna need an elder law attorney.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you want to age on your own terms, if you want to protect and preserve your assets, and if you don't want to be a burden on others, that's essentially where somebody like us can step in and help you figure out a way to navigate through all of that mess.
Well, and John, at least at the time that we're filming our show, it is the start of a brand new year in 2017.
Happy New Year.
Which means I'll just write 2016 on every paper and check and document for the next month.
That's right.
But anyway, so I thought today would be a good time. You know, we've gotten past the holidays, and a lot of times people, as they come up with their New Year's resolutions, it might be to, you know, lose weight, save some money, get a budget, you know, do some things that they've been putting off doing that they know needs to be done. And John, one of those things for most people is to take care of their business, and particularly their wills, estates, powers of attorney, those kind of things that we put off because you know, it's for some people it's like going to the dentist.
It is, and it's easy to put those sort of things off. But I will say that you get a lot of people that'll come in at this time of the year, a lot of potential clients that come in and they'll say, this is the year we're going to get that stuff done. We don't want to be one of and I think the last statistic is 70% of the population that ends up passing away having done no planning in advance and essentially leaving behind a train wreck for their families to clean up.
Well, and one of my favorite quotes, some of our viewers may be familiar with a financial guru by the name of David Ramsey, and he often cites that statistic that 70% of people don't have a will. And one of the things I think is so funny is David Ramsey will say, you know, go get a will, otherwise it's just a redneck free-for-all. And I think that's just kind of a funny colloquial way to say it.
It is. But you know, I think a lot of times, Lisa, when people they know they need to do it.
Sure.
And it is easy to put off. But you know, I know when we first started our practice, I came up with like a 5 or 6 page sheet of questions.
Oh, I think it was more than that.
It might have even been more than that.
Yes.
But you know, the whole idea is I thought, well, somebody will call the office and they'll say, well, I want to schedule an appointment to come in and visit with one of the attorneys. And I would say, well, great, I've got this package to help you get organized and that way you'll be ready when you come in. And I would mail this package out or email it out to them. And then we would never hear from that person again.
Because, you know, John, that seemed like homework.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest impediments a lot of times for people to get off the stump and get started with the planning side of it is they don't know how. They don't know how to get started. It seems overwhelming, and yet it's not.
Right, and so we thought with today's episode of Aging Insight, we might kind of look at some of the obstacles that people tell us about putting off coming in to get this type of work done. And John, more often than not, at the conclusion of working with a family, you know, they pat me on the back and they tell me how comforted, how relieved they are that it's done.
How good it feels
Yes.
that it's all taken care of now, and that's one thing they can check off their list, and they're not waking up at midnight thinking, oh, another day has passed that I didn't get that done.
Yeah.
They finally say they've done it. So how do you get that stuff started? Well, I would say the first thing in all of this is you do need to get organized. I'll have folks that'll come into the office, and you know, I'll sit down and then talk about who I am, and we'll then the next thing is I need to learn about who they are, and I can ask them questions about their family, and they know who they're married to, and they know who their kids are, but often that will lead into more personal things like, what is your monthly income? And I'm routinely surprised by how many clients cannot answer that question. When I say, how much do you get in Social Security? And you know, one of the spouses or perhaps both of the spouses look at each other with the, well, I don't know, it just gets deposited, and we don't really spend all that much, so we don't really have to worry about how much comes in, so we don't even really know what our monthly income is. And of course, as we go on a little further, I'll ask, you know, do you have an IRA? Oh yeah, we've got an IRA. Okay, well, do you know about how much you have in the IRA? No idea. That's just managed by our financial advisor, and he just calls us occasionally to tell us that everything's going good. And so, you know, Lisa, I have a lot of folks that just don't even really know what they have.
Right, and you know, taking those first steps to get planning, a lot of times, you know, we have people ask, you know, what do I need to bring? And most often I tell them, just bring yourself and what you do know. And a lot of times visiting with someone, we can identify those areas that need some more information. But I can tell you that the first of the year is a good time to consider this type of planning, because through the month of January, you will be receiving various tax forms from an IRA, from your Social Security, just whatever retirement or pensions you may have. You might be receiving 1099s for interest on CDs. You might be receiving 1099s or other tax forms related to mineral interest, oil and gas. And so a lot of times that is a good time. Those forms remind you of what it is that you have. And so a lot of times, John, I just have them bring what tax material they can lay their hands on. Not because I need to do their taxes, but because it's a good placeholder for what they might have.
Yeah, and whether you end up doing any estate planning or not, whether you ever make the jump, that starting point of getting yourself a bit organized, identifying what you have, where you have it, if nothing else, if you've got that stuff organized and you've done nothing else, you've at least given the people who survive you an indication of where they can look. I've had lots of conversations with family who have lost a family member and couldn't tell you where they banked or couldn't tell you anything about them, and it took in many cases months and months to discover all of that, and it takes a lot of time and effort. So if nothing else, kind of the starting point here is get organized. But you know, there's lots more to this.
Right, there sure is. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about more ways to overcome those barriers to actually getting something started. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Heritage Plaza Nursing Center, where a compassionate, skilled nursing team is dedicated to the care of our residents and committed to creating a better social and physical environment. With comprehensive rehabilitation services and individualized programs, we help each resident live life to the fullest. At Heritage Plaza, you feel the difference and see the results as we nourish the spirit through our Lifetime Wellness program with a variety of activities. Come tour Heritage Plaza Nursing Center and see what we offer the seniors of Texarkana and the surrounding areas.
The Wadley Senior Clinic has been such a blessing for our family. Because they specialize in geriatric care, they take the time to really focus on Dad's needs. Their exam rooms are specially designed for seniors, and they offer lab and x-ray on site. With monthly educational programs on health and wellness of the mind and body, our healthcare questions get answered. Best of all, they accept Dad's Medicare benefits. See what the Wadley Senior Clinic can do for you. Wadley Senior Clinic, where healthy relationships begin.
We all need a little help sometimes. That's why Twin City Rehab is here to help. Twin City Rehab guides people of all ages through a smooth recovery experience in their new facility on the corner of Morris and Hampton Road in Texarkana, Texas. We specialize in physical, occupational, and speech therapy and wound care, IV administrations, and parenteral nutrition. We offer inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation, private suites, transition apartments, and a state-of-the-art gym. Our goal is to get you back on your feet and back at home. Twin City Rehab, next to Reunion Plaza Senior Care.
Welcome back to Aging Insight, everybody. I'm John Ross here with Lisa Schulmeyer, and today we're counting on the fact that one of your New Year's resolutions out there is to finally get your estate planning and retirement planning done, so that that's one thing you can check off your list that you're not going to have to worry about after 2017, and we want to help get you there. And having guided really, I'd say at this point, thousands of people through this process, we certainly understand what many of those hurdles are, and we started off the program with probably the biggest hurdle, which is just kind of getting an idea of what you have, getting a bit organized. That will help. That's certainly going to put some of these pieces together. But you know, once you get some of these pieces together, the next thing is okay, so I've got bank statements and stuff. What do I do with all of these? How do I coordinate all of these different things? Because you know, you have a home and you've got cars and you've got investments and you've got banking, but then you've also got insurance and you've got to do a tax return every year. So often step number 2 in kind of getting started is to identify the members of your team.
Right, and you know, those team members are people like your tax preparer, people like your insurance agent, people such as your primary care physician. All of these people they have something to do that's important in your life, and when it comes to dealing with an estate plan, these people are going to hold certain bits of information that are specific to them. And when it comes to bringing it all together for a plan for your retirement years, really any of these people may need to be called upon to provide that information or to provide service to you. So you need to know who those are, identify them, addresses, phone numbers, and be ready to share that with an estate planning and elder law attorney.
Well, and the other thing is you've got to make sure you've got the right people in all of this. You know, again, a lot of times there's some misinformation. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day. They were a couple of years into retirement, and I asked them about their retirement accounts, their IRAs or 401ks, and he said, "Yeah, I've got a 401k." And I said, "Okay, well, you know, you got that from when you retired? You put money in while you were with the company?" And he says, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, who manages that?" And he named a company, and I said, "Okay, well, but who's the person? Who's the man or woman that you call to discuss how it's invested? Who's the person you call to if you want to make a withdrawal?" And he said, "Well, when I retired, the company used somebody that managed everything, and they just said I could leave it with that company, and so I've just got a 1-800 number, and if I need something, I call them." Well, how is that 1-800 number going to figure out how you individually need to invest, how you need to take withdrawals, how you need to make those withdrawals last throughout your retirement years? You know, so often people, they think, oh, well, I've got this retirement account, but they don't actually have a financial advisor that knows about retirement that can help guide them.
Well, and John, on that same note, I will point out that I have seen people who have realized that they don't have the right advisors, or any advisors perhaps. And I've seen those same people when they've mentioned it maybe to their favorite bank teller at the bank, because they're depositing their required minimum distribution check from their IRA, and they say, well, gosh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing with this. And John, sometimes that bank teller will refer that person right down the hallway to the banking institution's investment person.
Right.
And some of them are good, some of them maybe not so much, but there could be, I'm always worried about conflict of interest and, how that person's getting paid, and so picking financial and insurance people is just like picking a doctor. You want to have a good personal rapport and somebody that you can pick up the phone and visit with and who has responsibility towards you.
Right, and not all of them are the same, because you'll have financial advisors, for example, that the vast majority of their clients are business owners who are building toward retirement. Then you'll have another financial advisor who the vast majority of their clients are retirees. Which one of those two do you think is probably more experienced and more well versed on the needs of the retiree versus the needs of the business owner? And this is not necessarily the time for personal loyalty so much as it is finding the right person. You may love your family practice doctor, but if you needed heart surgery, you would go find a great heart surgeon. You wouldn't just trust the family practice doctor because you like the guy. Right. And the same thing goes with your financial advisor, with your accountant. If you ran a small business and so you had an accountant that did small business accounting, that person's great, but are they great with retirees?
Right. And so, during this time, as you're looking at the team that you have, you can certainly always visit with your friends and, colleagues. You can also visit, John, many times I will have an initial visit with a family or a couple that is looking to do their estate planning. And as I'm looking at their work, I realize that they are in need of some additional team members. They need a good tax preparer. They need, an insurance person who can help them find the right Medicare supplement and Part D plans. And so I'm always free to offer some suggestions in that area. So don't let that paralyze you, but just realize that if you're going to, as you float through your retirement years, you do need a support team of professionals as well.
Yeah. And then I guess the last piece of this is going to be actually going in and visiting with that attorney. Now, there's a few things we want you to know about that as well, but we're going to have to take one more break before we talk about that. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm so glad we found the Wadley Senior Clinic. Their team specializes in caring for older adults, and their doctors listen and work with me to keep me healthy and independent. With monthly educational programs, x-ray and lab, and state-of-the-art exam rooms, I get expert care and understanding about what I'm going through. Best yet, they're easy to get to right off the interstate at Jefferson. See what Wadley Senior Clinic could do for you. Wadley Senior Clinic, where healthy relationships begin.
We all need a little help sometimes. That's why Twin City Rehab is here to help. Twin City Rehab guides people of all ages through a smooth recovery experience in their new facility on the corner of Morris and Hampton Road in Texarkana, Texas. We specialize in physical, occupational, and speech therapy and wound care, IV administrations, and parenteral nutrition. We offer inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation, private suites, transition apartments, and a state-of-the-art gym. Our goal is to get you back on your feet and back at home. Twin City Rehab, next to Reunion Plaza Senior Care.
Welcome to Heritage Plaza Nursing Center, where a compassionate, skilled nursing team is dedicated to the care of our residents and committed to creating a better social and physical environment. With comprehensive rehabilitation services and individualized programs, we help each resident live life to the fullest. At Heritage Plaza, you feel the difference and see the results as we nourish the spirit through our Lifetime Wellness program with a variety of activities. Come tour Heritage Plaza Nursing Center and see what we offer the seniors of Texarkana and the surrounding areas.
Well, welcome back everyone to our last segment on today's Aging Insight. And today we are talking about, perhaps your New Year's resolution is to get some personal business taken care of, including things like estate planning. And, a lot of folks are intimidated. They don't quite know how to get started. And so they keep putting it off. And so my encouragement to you is make this year the year that you get it done. And we've talked about, just gathering some basic information. It's never going to be perfect, so don't worry about that. Just some basic information to get organized with. Second of all, you'll need to identify who your team members already are: insurance, tax preparer, financial advisor, primary care physician. Have that information available. And third, call and make an appointment with an attorney who works in this area. John, these days, couple things. I see a lot of advertising for, internet providers or, wills, forms and things. And I think that can be a little confusing. But just like with your team of providers, I think folks really need someone that they can call on and who's responsible for their situation.
Yeah, somebody you can rely on. And so you're going to need to look for an attorney that knows what they're doing when it comes to this type of work. There's a lot of attorneys out there. Many of those attorneys do a wealth of different things. So often the clients that I've visited with, many of them, I'm the first attorney they've ever dealt with in their whole lives. But many of them have dealt with attorneys in the past, maybe for a family law issue, maybe for a bankruptcy or a grandkid's minor criminal matter, or they've had some interaction with attorneys. But just like physicians, attorneys have specialties. There's things that some of them do very well because that's all they do day in and day out. And so just like you wouldn't ask your dentist about your heart and you wouldn't ask your heart surgeon about your teeth, you don't ask the person that did your adoption 20 years ago about your estate planning needs. That person clearly specializes in one matter, and now we're talking about something different. This is typically where you're going to want to look for something like an elder law attorney. And kind of going back to what we started with, that doesn't mean that you're elderly. It means that you're looking for somebody who knows how to navigate through the retirement years, starting from the few years before retirement all the way through the end of life and beyond. That's where elder law attorneys are going to really have a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience that they can bring to the table to help guide you. And so you can, there's places out there, Lacey, you can go to the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys website. That's naela.org.
Yes, the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. They are a professional organization where wherever you reside, you can type in a zip code and it will provide you a listing of elder law attorneys in your area.
That's right. The other thing you can do is frankly, you can get on things like Google or Yahoo and do an internet search for an elder law attorney in your area. But here's where you want to be careful. Look at what, when you get a firm that comes up in that search, look at what they do. Is what they're advertising on their website what it is that you're looking for? So for example, if you pull up the website and it says, have you been in a car wreck with an 18-wheeler? Do you need a divorce? And then at the very bottom of 5 or 6 different things, it mentions elder law.
Right.
That's the wrong place.
Yes.
Clearly that's not what they do. They may do that on the side.
Small part of their practice.
A small part of their practice. But again, do you want the heart surgeon that does heart surgery on the side? Probably not. And so it's the same sort of thing. So you can get on the internet and do some searches, but look for people that are specializing in that is what they do. You can also talk to professionals and if you've built that team of financial advisors and CPAs, many times they're going to have had lots of interactions with estate planning attorneys. And then the next thing is find one or two or three and give them a call. Ask them, do they charge a consultation fee? In our practice, we don't, but other elder law attorneys do. So, that's going to be a preference from firm to firm. Ask them how they bill. Do they bill on an hourly rate? Do they bill on a flat fee rate? And that way you have some idea of what you're getting into when you show up there. Are you going to have to pay for that meeting? If they agree to do work, are they just going to bill $300 an hour until they get tired of billing you? Or are they going to tell you how much it's going to cost up front?
Right.
And again, firm to firm, those things differ. So you can ask some of these questions, and then after all of that, you just got to show up.
Right, you have to show up, but this comes up quite a bit, is who do you bring to that meeting? And generally my suggestion is, I'm glad for folks to come and invite who they like into the meeting. However, the best thing to do is to meet privately with that attorney. That way, if there are any issues that maybe you need to discuss confidentially because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or you have some ideas that are in conflict with another family member, you want to have that conversation privately and confidentially with the attorney. But of course, John, I certainly have families that come in together as a family and a happy family situation, and
Sure.
they're there to support mom and dad, and so that is a personal choice, but that is a consideration. But I promise, I haven't met an attorney yet in this area that bites anybody. So
No, that's right. We're not all that scary. So ultimately, get organized, build your team, and then find you a good elder law attorney that you can come in and discuss these things. Do it, even if you don't. After, you will gain so much information during an initial meeting like that you'll be happy that you did it. So hopefully, if you haven't already done it, make this one of your New Year's resolutions and get out there and protect yourself. And of course, maybe you can watch some more of our episodes and you'll be armed with knowledge when
Right.
you walk in there, because you can always tune in next week, but you can also go to our website at aginginsight.com, where you can watch past episodes of this show. You can search through there. You can even watch or listen to prior radio programs, because we do our radio show every Saturday at noon on 98.7, and we put those up on the website as well. So
Right.
lots
Great.
of ways to get information.
Right, so we look forward to being back with you next week here on Aging Insight.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Aging Insight program with John Ross and Lisa Scholmeyer. This program is made possible by